My name is Shang. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Falcon Structures. We build workspaces and living spaces using repurposed shipping containers, and we've been in business since 2003. I think the most important thing a leader can do through this is to be transparent. I was talking to another CEO who runs a company in New York City of all places. And our businesses are similar size. And he asked me, he said, I had a moment the other day when all 70 of our employees were looking at me and thinking that I had the answers, and I don't. And I said, I get it. I totally get it. And the fact of the matter is, yes, they may look to you for the answers, but you got to be transparent. You got to be vulnerable, and you got to be authentic and say, hey, look, I don't have the answers, because to say that I do would be misleading, and that's not what a leader should be doing. So I think, in this time of uncertainty, I think especially with as much information as is out there, it's so much more important to just say, hey, look, I don't have all the answers, but we're going to work together and we're going to figure this out. Because it's together that we get through this. Not any one person is going to pull us across the finish line or get us to that place where to whatever the new normal looks like. When the questions do come up, how long is this going to last, Stephen? How bad is it going to get, Stephen? The answer is, I don't know. I don't know. And it's okay not to know, but hopefully our plan accommodates for that, and just point people back to the plan and say, look, this is what we agreed we're going to execute on. This was the best path forward. Has something happened where we think that we need to adjust the plan or change? And if not, let's continue to keep our head down and execute on this plan, because that's what we think is going to get us through this. I think there are a couple things that come to mind about good leadership. One is to listen to the people you're leading. And not just to gain consensus or to figure out where we ought to go or what the morale is like, but to listen because what they're saying is important, and to listen because you actually care for the people that you're leading. That type of leadership lends well for me. I'm naturally introverted, and so to be able to actually listen to people is something that comes naturally. The other part of being a leader that really resonates with me is the ability to make a decision. Nobody wants to make a decision because they're afraid of being wrong, or they're afraid that their decision is going to lead to failure. And for me, I've learned that, a good decision today is better than a great decision tomorrow. And so that's been one of the things that's helped me through my career, is to just make choices and to make the tough choices. And once you've made the choice, not to look back and keep second guessing yourself. I think the last thing is, as you look at the history of leadership, there are really two primary motivators that leaders have at their disposal, if you will. I think one is kind of the fear-based leader, and the other one is what I call the love-based leader. A fear-based leader, I think, worked really well coming into the Industrial Revolution. If you look at history, like, people really were motivated by fear. You started seeing this kind of love-based leadership start to emerge, and there are definitely threads of this throughout history. But it's really, how do you motivate people through love? How do you motivate them because they know that you care, because they know that your heart's in the right place? So in the manufacturing context, if you think about factories and kind of the more traditional type factories, people came in, they had to do a job, and that really was about it. And I think that kind of stems more to kind of the fear-based leadership of, look, you're going to do your job or you're fired. I think as manufacturing has evolved, as you study these different schools, these new thoughts around manufacturing, really it's the frontline workers that impact the bottom line the most. And so love-based leadership looks a lot more like, giving them the information that they need to make the best decision, empowering them to make changes, listening to thoughts that they have on how to make the process more efficient, right? It's really coming from a caring, I care about what you're saying, I care about what you're thinking type of mentality, whereas the old school way is just like, shut up, just do your job. I think the love-based leader actually spends time with their people on the factory floor, taking the walks and understanding what people are going through. And it's through that the awareness of the organization really rises. And as it rises, it becomes more efficient, it becomes more profitable, throughput increases, all of those things that we're really going for. And so I think that's how I think it applies to manufacturing.